in the morning. You got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, let's kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right, baby let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
Are you a victim of brokenness and despair? A broken man is a hopeless man, and a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. Many times, many of you young men that are listening come from homes that are very toxic and very dysfunctional. And because of that, many of you have deferred your power in many ways to the point it's led over into your social life and many times led over into your relationships. If you guys are dealing with mental health pathologies, conscious and unconscious, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. It's important that you deal with your mental health in order to be a better person for yourself, your loved ones, and also your community. But because mental health is often stigmatized, many of you often suffer in silence. Don't be a victim in silence. And see me once again at kosherclinician@gmail.com. And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. And male mental health is one of those elements that's paramount to the functioning of a man. Be well. Who told you that you can rise from the morass of your current situation? Who told you that you had to be a slave to the pain of your past? Who told you that you had to settle for mediocrity in this current culture called America? Who told you that you couldn't change your mind? Talk to me. Now's the time for empowerment. And I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm the kosher clinician.
can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Feelings I all the time, ease my mind. I know going through the motions, stumbling out the Uber, grabbed my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind.
Pain. I've been there, locked up inside my head, broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? Despair. I've been there too, desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood, hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress, suffering in a utility silo, no comfort, no security, no freedom, no justice, just do it for others. Challenges, who will help me break the challenges? Lost in the vortex of darkness, hopelessness, fear, and abandonment. I've been there too. I've been there too. Take the next step to your destiny. Join me in this fight. Walk forward. Deep breaths. Head held high, men. Come join me, men, in the winds of time. Stories, hopes, visions, purified in the fire. I'm not a superhero, and I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm here to help you. Join me, men, in this fight. Break the chains of your mind. Let's do it now. For now is all we have. Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician. All right, guys, we're going to get into it. Thank you to the 17 that are watching, guys. Get the likes up for me. I really appreciate it. We're going to have a powerful discussion on tonight because this is going to be a great show talking about the Senator Mack. And, you know, man, we're going through very turbulent times in America right now. It appears that our culture has gotten so ratchet. And many times, guys, even with the women that you can't even tell right from wrong, women that you would think will have a level of decorum about themselves are displaying or is displaying ratchet behavior. And the lady that's going to be on the show
are more or less on the display tonight is going to be Senator Mack. She's been in a lot of controversy, and we're going to look at a lot of the character traits associated with modern women now and why we as men must adjust our crowns. Because many times you hear women in modern times, they say, adjust your crown. And many times that's part of them being sassy and more or less making themselves more than what they really is. But it's about time that good men, hardworking men, righteous men adjust their crowns. It's time for you men to adjust your crowns. But you can't adjust your crown until you understand the thinking errors that you currently have in these current dating and relationships. And you can't adjust your crowns until you understand that you have a lot more worth than the world has told you that you have. And so we're going to have a great show tonight. Hopefully my man Shannon Rawls can come on at some point. We're going to break it down. And we're going to talk about it through an analytical perspective about women like Senator Mack, women that you would think that would have a level of respect about themselves. But the more things change, guys, the more they remain the same. It's remaining the same. You would think the modern women or women of her esteem, a woman that went to Brown University, would more or less display or exhibit a level of decorum. But all too often, we're not seeing women of that high level of office displaying what men need to see and what she needs to see because, of course, once again, she is a woman in high office. So the question for tonight, guys, is this. Is Senator Mack the typical modern woman? Is Senator Mack the typical modern woman? And if she is the typical modern woman, I need you guys to hit one. We're going to get into it in a couple of minutes. But once again, is Senator Mack the typical modern woman? And if she is, guys, the typical modern woman, I want you guys to hit one. Many men are looking for what I call wholesome women. Women that got a modicum of civility and women that got a modicum of virtue. But all too often, we begin to hear men say it's getting harder and harder to find women of virtue. Because we live in a world now, guys, where thought culture is more important than being virtuous. And because of that, a lot of men are saying, what am I getting in return if so many of these women don't have a modicum of respect similar to what my mother and my grandmother had? And you guys are beginning to see it all too often. You see it in the media, you see it in the streets, you see it in the malls, you see it in the restaurants, you see it everywhere. And many men are asking themselves the question once again, why should I give my best after I went to school for years? Why should I give my best after I've studied hard for years? Why should I give my best after I built myself, I built my credit, I built my body only to get women that have no level of decorum, respect, and many times come into relationships with a level of entitlement? And as Bishop Charles E. Williams said, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. And so I need you guys to get the likes up and share the content. Share the content, share the stream. Because I'm going to drop some fire for your mind on tonight. If Shannon
fire for your mind.
And just like women talk about adjusting their crown, it's time for you men to adjust your crown. You got to adjust your crown because, you know, there's a king that's inside of you, men. There's a king that's waiting to come into fruition. But until you adjust your crown, you will continue to be a slave to the charm and the deceptions of the typical modern woman. Until you know what your worth is, you will continue to be a slave to the typical modern woman. Until you adjust your crown, you will give your money away. Until you adjust your crown, guys, you're going to let your sisters and your mothers and women in your family, the ones that are not good, righteous women, manipulate you into more or less giving them more than what they're really worth. And that's why, guys, you got to adjust your crown too. You got to adjust your crown because as a clinical therapist, we talk about things, the precursory to bad behavior. We call it the ABCs, the antecedents, the behaviors, and the consequences. And I'm going to do a show at some point highlighting with Mr. Palmer. Also in these modern times, guys, you got to be like water. And we're going to talk about it because when you are like water, you are unbendable. When you are like water, you are malleable. And Bruce Lee said it better than me. He said, be like water. You got to use mental kung fu.
That's ISO.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and
Yeah, you got to be like water. You got to be like water dealing with the modern woman, because you are not like water. You will become a slave to her shenanigans. Bruce Lee was a kung fu master. And you know, Mr. Palmer said you got to change the law in your mind. That's what he said. Edward Anderson said you can't allow women to more or less put or get you infected with mentally transmitted diseases. But I came with my own slogan in terms saying that you got to use mental kung fu. And just like Bruce Lee used kung fu to defend people that were more or less trying to hurt him and mesmerize him, not only was he like water, as that was his defense, but also kung fu, mental kung fu, got to be your defense as it relates to some of these negative behaviors relating to these modern women. And that's why we call it the Manhood Chronicles. You got to know your stories. You got to know your pain. You got to know your dislike if you're going to get the outcomes that you desire and the outcomes that you want. We're living in very turbulent times, man. I've never seen the world like this before, where any virtue of respect and virtue or modicum or a modicum of honor, you don't see it. And when men begin to speak out and say what they want, when men begin to proclaim what they want, many times it falls on deaf ears. It falls on deaf ears, guys, because many of them are deaf. They cannot hear, they cannot see, they can't understand because they have cognitive dissonance. And listen, they have cognitive dissonance because there has not been a level of accountability that's going to hold them to a standard. And that's why you men got to raise the bar. You got to raise the standard. You got to change the law in your mind so that you're not going to be a slave to her, what we call ego syntonia. And ego syntonia, guys, is a byproduct of delusion. It's a byproduct of delusion. And see, you know, these hyena simps, you know, they cause the modern woman to think that they are more than what they really are. Many of them are what I call simp pacifiers. You know, they tell her that she's special, that she's gorgeous, that she's a queen, even though she's not a queen. They make her feel like she's more than what she really is. And so what these men do, guys, they assuage women in their delusion. And see, until you learn to look for all the red flags associated with women of such ilk, then you won't be aware. And if you're not aware, then therefore you are a slave. In the meantime, shout out to my man D.I.V.A for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. He said that Law 48 and the 48 Laws of Power assume formlessness. No doubt. I respect that, brother. Thank you, sir. But, you know, to the 22 that are watching, guys, what do you guys think about Senator Mack? We're going to get into it in a minute, but what do you guys think about the shenanigans with Senator Mack? Were you shocked or were you not shocked? Were you disappointed? Did you think it was a gimmick? Was she trying to more or less promote an agenda? What say you about the behaviors of this woman, Senator Mack? Because you funny, Alicia. Well, hey, well, you just plead the blood, sweetie. But this woman, Senator Mack, did not personify a woman of high virtue. And imagine this, guys. Can you imagine if a man, you know, he was a man of high esteem, or he was a man in political office, did what Senator Mack did? Can you guys imagine if a man was standing on the beach grabbing his groin or his genitalia and say, I'm Senator John Doe, and he's grabbing his genitalia standing on the beach? Imagine the shame and the outrage that would have been associated with that man. But because we live in a culture, guys, where many of the women, not all, shout out to all the good sisters, shout out to my dear friend Elisa Del Sario and all the good sisters that often watch this show. But imagine, guys, if a man had done that. Imagine if Donald Trump or any politician that's a man would have done what this woman have did. And imagine the outrage that would have been associated with it. But we live in a time, guys, where once again, there is no accountability. There is no accountability. They can do what they want to do. They can say what they want to say, and they don't expect you to say anything to them. And because of that, guys, many of them have cognitive dissonance. They have a lot of cognitive dissonance. And that cognitive dissonance, guys, is tied to shout out to my man, Tim Harden. John Smith said that seeing that twerking video, I would have thought I was looking at a lost clip of D.W. Griffith's portrayal of black politician in the racist 1950 movie, Birth of a Nation. Right. No level of decorum, guys. No level of decorum. And so we're going to get right into it, guys. I'm going to show you this clip. I hope they don't get me in trouble for it, but I'm going to show you guys this clip. You guys, I'm sure, have seen it thus far. But shout out to my man, Ian Graves. Ian Graves sent me this clip. Thank you, Ian. And at the time, I didn't really have time to think about it, but once I saw it, I was a little shocked. And I'm like, you know, this woman is a state official. She's supposed to be in high esteem and high office, but she's upside down twerking. And so I hope they don't try to screw me over on this one. You know, damn Facebook, YouTube is funny. But hold on, guys. But you guys see it. Hold tight. Where's she at? Where's she at? She got away. But you guys see it. You guys see this woman upside down twerking, like the old folks say, her ham parts. You guys see it. But these women say that they are queens, and this is typical of queen culture. No accountability. Don't take ownership for their bad behavior. When you try to check them on their bad behavior, instead of them self-reflecting and introspecting, they say, I'm going to adjust my crown. They'll tell you guys that they're going to adjust their crowns because they are deaf. They deny the evidence when you bring it to them. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, and they fight or flee because they cannot hear what you're saying. And sadly, because some of you men have been raised in families where you don't see strong men, you guys have been sabotaged in relationships where you're doing this. And you're right, Big Smooth. You said struggle. Big Smooth says struggle turks for votes. And so what she did, guys, was very smooth and calculated. She did some what I call feminine witchcraft on the brothers and also on the public. She used her stance of being a queer to justify her behavior. So basically she was saying, you're attacking me because I'm part of queer culture. So she gets two agendas accomplished at one time. I can twerk for the votes, but if somebody say anything about my bad behavior, then I'll say that they're attacking me because I'm queer. And once again, guys, this is the bad behavior that so many men are beginning to see manifest now in modern times. No modicum of virtue, no modicum of respect. And when men begin to speak out and say something about that sad behavior, then nothing happens. And that's why, once again, guys, you got to change the law of your mind because, see, Senator Mack was trying to get you guys spellbound. Alicia, cover your eyes. Yeah, a lot of modern men are spellbound. They are spellbound by Senator Mack twerking, but they are spellbound through lasciviousness instead of seeing this woman for what she really is. And, you know, when women try to do the right thing, when virtuous women, righteous women try to do the right thing, you know, it's met with a lot of ill repute. You got solid women trying to do the right thing and striving to do the right thing, but it's met with a level of disdain. But not only got a level of disdain, it's met with a level of ill repute because, once again, many are deaf. So she gets her agenda accomplished. She gets her agenda accomplished. She gets to promote herself by being lewd. But at the same time, she's telling folks, I dare you say anything, because if you say something, then you're homophobic or queerphobic or whatever phobic they call now. And it's a justification, guys, for her bad behavior. And that's why, once again, guys, you got to change the law in your mind. But you can't change the law in your mind, shout out to Mr. Palmer, until you understand mental kung fu.
That's ISO. Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and
Yeah, you got to use mental kung fu on these modern women, because if you don't know how to use mental kung fu, guys, you'll never be able to adjust your crown. It's time for men to rise up. It's time for men to demand more. And it's time for men to adjust their crowns. You got to adjust your crowns if you are a hard-working man. I'm not talking about these dusty men. I'm not talking about Raekwon and Man, you know, the ones that don't want to work, the ones that stay home and mooch off women. They don't have any goals. They're directionless. They don't have a standard. They just take anything. And I'm not talking about ones that be saying,
Yeah, put chain on them balls on my mom. They be broken balls. Kill some of my mom. Bro, they back me look like
that's on my monkey. That's on my monkey. That's on my monkey.
we don't need guys like Raekwon and Man saying, "On my mama." We need masculine men that are cerebral and self-respective men that have standards, men that love themselves, men that say, I'm not going to tolerate the trash culture that we currently have there, because the current culture, guys, is trash. Now, once again, guys, I was running late, and I apologize. This show was supposed to start at 8:30, but I was busy talking to my man Top Gun. We were chopping it up. I was at the office, leaving the office, flying in rain to give you guys quality content. If you guys like what I'm doing, I need you guys to share this content. I need at least 5 people to share this stream. If you can't donate, share the stream. If you can't donate, at least hit the like button. But if you can do all 3, donate, hit me up at Cash App $7 small. Shout out to my man for the $5 super sticker earlier, my man D.I.V.A. And like the stream, guys, and the comments are actually merited because it helps the stream be productive. But once again, this woman is the antithesis to good women that are trying and striving to do the right thing. She said Senator Mack. So listen what else she said. Hold tight, guys.
Vote Senator Mack.
All right.
Y'all really just be coming on the internet without.
And so now, guys, hold tight. Now she's trying to justify her bad behavior. Let me get this thing down, guys. I'm gonna get this. I'm working on something in the background. I got something to show you guys. Y'all gonna love it. So, guys, hold tight while I'm trying to work behind the scene. But now, guys, she's trying to justify her bad behavior. And you see it all the time, guys, when, you know, righteous men and righteous women, good sisters, like the Chantel Simones and the Shalakimia Moffats, and all women that are good women, not perfect. They're not perfect. They got their struggles and flaws, just like I got my struggles and flaws. But they're willing to look within themselves and say, these women now in modern times, they don't represent me. Just like some of these reckless men, they don't represent you guys. They don't represent hardworking black men, hardworking white men, hardworking men in general that have a standard. But see, men don't have a standard anymore. You guys got to understand that I'm from Gen X. I'm from the class of 1990, 89, 90. Men had higher standards back then. But the crap that men are dealing with now as it relates to some of these modern hyenas is problematic. You got a lot of modern hyenas. A lot of modern hyenas. And, you know, you can't tell them nothing because they have so many sympathizers, guys, that justify their bad behavior. They got so many sympathizers that, you know, say, you know, you hate women or, you know, your mama is black. And when other righteous brothers and sisters try to speak out, call out the bad behavior, tell them what they are doing wrong, then it's met on deaf ears. But you got some folks that say, let's have a good community. Let's rebuild the community. There is no community. There is no community without structure, order, and men. There is no community. There is no community, guys, without self-reflection, men looking at what power that they have, and the women holding themselves accountable and holding those said women accountable, and men also holding some of these dusty men and these unsavory men accountable as well. But we don't have a culture because it all starts with family. The culture now is not like it was in the past. Some got mad at Anton Daniels when he said the black culture is trash. And I understood what Anton was saying, because by and large, the culture is trash compared to what it was. It wasn't trash in the past. It wasn't as trashy when I was growing up. It wasn't trashy in the later generations. Did they have problems did we have issues in our generation? Yes, no culture was perfect. But they had a higher level of shame. Shame was the antecedent that kept a lot of men and women intact. The gospel say if a man don't work, he don't eat. But some of these men now have been raised in homes where they don't see masculinity. They're very effeminized. They're very estronized. They don't want to fight through adversity. They're very weak. And what the women are doing, they are creating the same type of men that they don't like. But these will be the same women a couple of years ago say, "Oh, we don't have any strong men. We need the strong men in our community to protect us or to defend us or to help us without whatever issues we have." But when men come together to form an alliance and do things based on masculine principle, then all of a sudden there's a problem. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Be aware of these women that get mad at men and say that when men stand firm on masculine principles, that he's full of pride. Anything that's associated with masculinity now, guys, is seen as pride, because they are ignorant, because they want you to be like their feelings. They don't want you to be men for the sake of being men. They want you to be men based on their feelings. And when you got men that do things based on a woman's feelings, they become a Mitch. You guys know what a Mitch is. They do things based on her feelings instead of doing things based on principle. I'm going to say it again. They do things based on feelings instead of doing things based on principles. And when you do things, guys, based on her feelings instead of doing things based on principles, you become a slave to her feelings. That's why it's contraindicated when men always try to placate to a woman. You would think that she would like that, but women don't like that. Women want men to be men. And that's why I do these shows, to empower the young men. But once again, guys, you guys are seeing it. I'm shouting to my man Top Gun for that $4 super sticker. Thank you, Top Gun. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
And so listen to her defense.
Simple Google search. I'm a state senator, baby girl. The United States got nothing to do with me. She ain't got nothing to do with me. Do y'all really just be coming on the internet without no? Please do not hop on to.
So once again, guys, she's justifying her bad behavior. She is justifying her bad behavior. And we see it all the time. The justification of that bad behavior. But we wonder why, guys, we can't have a more perfect union. We wonder why we can't have stronger families. We wonder why we can't have a stronger nation, because behavior like this often is gone unchecked. And when my man Ian sent me the link, I didn't have time to look at it, but the more I began to look at it and to analyze it, I realized that this woman killed two birds with one stone. Promote the alphabet culture, but at the same time, twerk for votes. And see, that's what some politicians think of you men. They think the only thing that you're worth is votes or twerking or behinds. Not women that are intellectual, but women that don't personify anything. When last year the election came out, they said take your booty to the poll, and they use strippers as a way to entice you to get the vote. They don't see you as thinking intellectuals. They see you as icons of hedonism. And guys, we got to be more analytical and more critical in our thinking so that we won't become slaves of this foolishness.
To the internet in 2022 as if the insurrection did not happen. Go talk to an insurrectionist. Go talk to y'all's old president. Don't come to me with this nonsense. Like, please.
And now, guys, partisan politics. Now she's preaching partisan politics to justify her bad behavior. Top Gun said that he said that that OIBD head fish-eyed fool, you may proceed. Yeah, she got some serpent in her Top Gun. She got some granny serpent in her. But that's what you guys are beginning to see more or less now. You're beginning to see women like her not take accountability and justify why their behaviors are so bad. My man Gregory Scotland said, Coach, this is why I think it's very important for male content creators to be very careful of which women come onto their platforms, because some come to attack men for having standards. Yes, sir. You're 1,000% correct, Gregory Scotland. They come to attack men that have standards. Shout out to my man Yusef Benjamin. He said, what? Wait, she's an actual senator. Yes, sir. She is a senator. She is a functional senator. She's an actual senator. Yes, sir. And that's why, guys, you got to change the law in your mind. And also, you got to be like water.
That's ISO. Rack it up, I gotta build up the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and
yeah, you got to be like water dealing with these typical modern women because they have no virtue or decorum. Now listen to what else she was saying. Partisan politics.
Please do not hop on to the internet in 2022 as if the insurrection did not happen. Go talk to an insurrectionist. Go talk to y'all's old president. Don't come to me with this nonsense. Like, please.
And once again, guys,
hop on
trying to justify
2022 as if
bad behavior.
Insurrection did not happen.
Justifying bad behavior.
I'm justifying this with a response, but LOL. I literally won my election 60% to 40%. I'm looking to get reelected. Bye. I don't know why I'm justifying this with a response, but LOL. I literally won my election.
Right, guys. Once again, justifying their behavior. I'm going to show you guys some acronyms in a minute. But once again, guys, that's why you have to adjust. It's time for good, righteous men and good, righteous women, but especially the men, because this is a male channel. It's time for you men to adjust your crowns, because once again, women like her will do bad and deviant behavior, but after they do very bad and deviant behavior, they'll say, when you call them out on their BS, I got to adjust my crown, because that's what you call that sassy culture, that diva culture. And we're going to break it down in a minute. That diva culture where they dare you to say anything about their bad behavior. They dare you guys to say anything about what they're doing, because anytime you say anything about their bad behavior, they'll say, well, you judging me, or only God can judge me. And that's the kind of bad behavior that a lot of us men are beginning to see in some of these modern women. And that's why men got to be aware of it. The more we are aware of it, then the less we will tolerate. If men will raise the bar and raise standards, then some of these women won't be doing what they're doing. I had a great conversation with Love Crossing Borders, excellent brother, and we were just talking about the difference in cultures, and no culture is perfect. Women abroad got issues too. But the difference is those women have a higher level of virtue. They have a higher level of femininity. And it makes it bad for the good women that are striving to do the right thing, because now even the good sisters are called mammies. They're called lames. They're called pick-me's, and they're called all kinds of foolish stuff. They're called slaves, because these women want husbands. They want men to serve. And, I'm still a firm proponent that, and the laws need to change. And men and women, but most of the women that want to get married, they need to help these men advocate for law reform. But until law reform take place, or until women decide to, more or less sign prenups, I'm not against marriage itself, because I think marriage can be very beautiful. But the contract for men in marriage now is horrible, and it's a bad deal. And I see why a lot of men are beginning to check out. So once again, let me show you guys something else. Hold tight. Let me show you guys the next one.
I believe the word that you meant to use was reelected. It won't get me reelected. And it probably will, because my constituents freaking love that I'm a real person and fun. And,
And guys, look at the arrogance. Look at the haughtiness. That's what you call a haughty spirit. She's very haughty. A very haughty spirit. She's a very haughty woman. Her spirit is haughty. And, it's typical of, queen cultures, queen bee culture, divas, It's very typical of queen bee culture, guys, and very typical of divas. You know, they got a persona non grata, a persona that makes them think that they're better than what they actually are, a persona where they elevate themselves. They always sail with their degrees or lead with their education instead of leading with their virtue. And just like men can't lead with their wallets and think they're going to get a good woman, women, y'all can't lead with your JJ and think you're going to get a good man. It doesn't work that way because predatory men going to see right through it. They're going to hit them cakes and then they're going to keep it moving. They ain't going to take you serious. They ain't going to put a ring on your finger. They're going to see right through it. And then, they're going to keep it moving. And that's why I tell you guys, and I tell some of you women, you got to do the right thing. Shout out to my man, XL Pro. I didn't even see it, man. XL Pro for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. He said, sent to you for $5. Appreciate you, solid brothers. No doubt. Thank you, XL Pro. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Hold tight. Hold tight, guys. I got something for you. I got something for you, brothers, in 1 minute. Hold tight. I'm trying to do like 5 things at one time. Like I said, guys, I was at the office earlier. I'm dealing with notes and clients, and I'm here now. I'm ready to drop some fire for your mind because
fire
these conversations
for your mind.
These conversations need to be had. Mission. And you guys should never be victims of shame. Shaming language, something that Aunt Esther did. And shaming language is typical of many modern women. They'll try to shame you into submission. They'll shame you into having standards. And they will shame you guys into having virtue. But don't be a victim like women like Aunt Esther that more or less try to berate you and try to minimize your masculinity like she does many times from this old clip.
You old fish-eyed fool. You miserable old snagger-tooth jackass. You ignorant old bum. You beady-head old pickle-eyed fool. You are unholy sinner and a heathenish foul Philistine. You bean-eating bear hugger. You a heathen, Fred Sanford. Old senile heathen. I'll unscrew your arm from your shoulder and beat your brains out. You just keep sucking on that sucker. And when I pull your chain, you bark. Woodrow, put that bottle down before I unscrew your wrist. I'd bust your eyeball. Twist his head until it unscrews. I'll get some sticks and stones and break your bones. And the name that'll hurt you will be Esther.
And it's not funny, guys, to the point that it is funny, but this woman, even though Esther was an icon, Esther was very masculine. She was very masculine. She was a Christian feminist. And I'm sure that Aunt Esther always talked about adjusting her crown. That's the sassiness, guys, that you see in some of these modern women. No accountability, no sense of direction. Dodo birds. A dodo bird is a flightless bird, and no sense of shame. And that's what's happened to our culture now. There is no sense of shame anymore. Shannon, I don't know if you're available, man. If you're available, you're watching the stream, dog, pop in. I was waiting on you. I know you said you tried to come in later, but I tried to call you, reach out to you. But if not, I'm going to do the show. We're going to keep it moving. But anyway, shout out to my man for that. Yusuf Benjamin said, a fun senator. No, I need one with common sense, decorum, and serious mind. She has too much power to be fun in the Senate. Right. I totally agree. Big Bad Bull said, yeah, ladies, you should have more respect for your cakes or else you're welcome to disrespect. No doubt, Big Bad Bull. Thank you, brother. I agree with you 1,000%. Yusuf Benjamin said, I don't like this, laughing at this old woman talking down on black men like this. I never thought she was funny. Yeah, I know. But, art imitates life, Yusuf, and what you're seeing manifest in Aunt Esther is also manifest in a lot of women. A lot of modern women are just like Aunt Esther, loud, violent, disrespectful. They have no regard for men. They pick weak men. And once again, guys, when they come down to masculine men, they'll try to shame you away from your masculinity. And anything associated with masculinity, they'll say it's toxic, or they'll say you got pride. You got pride, guys, for being the man. You got pride, guys, for setting standards. You got pride for holding women accountable, like you hold yourself accountable. But anytime you begin to speak out and hold them accountable because they're rebellious, they say, he's full of pride. No. The man is not full of pride. You're the damn one that's full of pride because you can't see the error of your way. In other cultures, women don't critique the men. The men critique themselves, and the other men hold the men accountable. But nowadays, you got women trying to tell men how to damn be men based on how they feel. And let me tell you, men, something, don't you ever let a woman shame you into being a man based on how she feel. If her feelings does not line up with standards and principles, you tell her hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more until you get it right. That's the problem with the world today. It's devoid of strong masculine men speaking loud and standing up for what they believe in. Too many hyena simps. Too many hyena simps, guys. Too many hyena simps that drag their knuckles and they justify bad behavior. And then when other masculine men begin to speak up, when other masculine men begin to raise the mantle of masculinity, then it's met on deaf ears. It's met on deaf ears because there's too much pacifying bad behavior. If I could put it in the DSM-5, I would make simping a mental illness. Because I told you guys that there are two types of simps. There are two types. There are two types, gentlemen. There's the unconscious simp. The unconscious simp stands for supplementing irrational male patterns. That's the unconscious simp. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know any better, but he's supplementing irrational male patterns. It's irrational for a man to justify bad behavior in a woman or a man. But then you got the conscious simp. He sacrifices important masculine principles. He sacrifices important masculine principles. And that's the problem with a lot of men. Some of you men know what you're doing is wrong. You know that that woman does not deserve that Birkin bag that you bought her. You know that that woman does not deserve your time, your attention, or your affection. But you give it to her because you are an unconscious simp or a conscious simp. When you buy that bag, you hit your head on the steering wheel and say, you know what, I should have never done that. Because you know what you're doing doesn't make any sense. You know it doesn't make any sense. And you sit back in silence, shaking your head and saying, wow, she doesn't honor me or respect me, but I continue to give her the things that I know that she doesn't deserve. Let me keep listening to this, guys. Hold tight with this woman. Hold on.
Not a robot. I believe the word that you... Honey, baby, this ain't it. Because I have an Ivy League degree and I'm a sitting state.
Now, this is what she said, guys. She's leading with her education. I got an Ivy League degree. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? You know, it's part of what I call the deflecticons. They deflect from the argument that justified their bad behavior. This is a classic form, guys, of manipulation. Let me show you guys something real quick. I'm going to bring up some of my notes. Shout out to my man, James Turner. That's my homie, man. He always come and do. I love that brother. That brother always hold me down. My man, James Turner, always hold me down. He said, pride. He said, damn right I got pride. I'm the prize. Why wouldn't? No doubt, man. Mad love, brother.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
1,000%
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
1,000% correct. It's time for men to have a high level of pride. High level of pride. If your pride does not supersede God's righteousness in men, you got a right to be proud of your masculinity. You got a right to stand firm for what you believe in. You don't have to bow your head down and drag your knuckles to make somebody feel good. Men are builders. We're the architects of life, besides the creator. But so many times in America, we've been told, men, that when we stand firm on pride and stand firm on masculine virtue, then it's something bad. And it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad about you standing firm on masculine virtue. What's bad is when you minimize your worth as a man to appease or please people that don't have no level of respect or regard for you. That's what's bad. And that's why, guys, you got to change the law in your mind. And like Bruce Lee said, he said, you got to be like water.
That's ISO. Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and
No doubt, no doubt. All right, my man Gregory Scotland said that that is crazy culture. Women trying to instruct men how to be men. A woman to tell a man how to protect, problem solve, and how to organize, and a minister to finances. Yes, because they've never seen pure masculinity in its purest form. And one of the manipulation tactics, guys, that they'll try to shame you into thinking like they want you to think as it relates to their selfish behavior. It's part of a woman's biological imperative. They are they're survivors by nature, survivalists. And, men, we tend to be more physically stronger and dominating and more logical. And because of that, many times they can't beat you physically, and many can't beat you logically if you're a logical man. And so, therefore, many times they'll try to pin you down through their manipulation, through tears or shaming language. And that's why you guys got to be very vigilant in your responses, be very vigilant in your stance as men. Because at the end of the day, you got a lot more to lose than gain when you're dealing with many of these modern women. Now, it's one thing, guys, to be a modern woman with traditional values. But it's another thing to be a modern woman with modern values that don't benefit the men that you're dealing with. Men got worth, men got standards, men got pride. And once again, guys, I need about 5 guys. I need you guys to adjust your crown. I need you brothers to adjust your crown. I need you to hold your head up high. Take deep breaths, because I need you to adjust your crown. Because right now, this chick's crown is crooked. Her crown is crooked. And so now she's trying to adjust her crown to justify her bad behavior. And we see it all too often, guys, sadly, in these modern times. All right, hold tight. Let me play the rest of it. Hold on.
Senator, it's not about what I'm wearing. It's not about what I'm doing. They won't respect me regardless.
Look at some of the comments, guys. Live your life. Definitely has my vote. And we wonder why our world is in a state of peril. No accountability. You got people justifying this bad behavior. She said, I'm a senator, but I ain't dead. Selective outrage in these 999 neat streets is hilarious. Folks don't get outraged with senators on ish that they should be, but want a voice here. I don't know what you mean by that. This lady said, I ain't mad at her. This person justifying the bad behavior, guys. There are politicians doing way worse. That's part of the deflection. The cognitive dissonance, the deflection, the gaslighting, deflecting from the topic. Deaf, deny the evidence like what this woman is doing, become enraged when you show them the error of their way. They argue and attack the messenger instead of the message, and they fight or flee. Look at the comments, guys. Look at it. Meanwhile, the other senators sitting up there doing coke, please, trying to justify, once again, the bad behavior. And we wonder why we got a cesspool for a culture. We wonder why the greater collective does not live up to the virtues of our ancestors of past. No damn accountability. This justified bad behavior. And you got these goofballs right along justifying it. And guess what? Sadly, they're all, sadly modern women. This person says she's on the beach on her own personal time. But imagine once again, guys, if a male senator had been on the beach with some great shorts on or great jogging pants, grabbing his crotch, or being lewd and lascivious. Imagine if a man had done it. You would never hear the last of it. This person said these people acting like we didn't just have a bankrupt TV host as the president who cheats in his pregnant wife and pays off a porn star, trying to justify the bad behavior. Ain't got nothing to do with the argument of this woman. This woman is not president. It has nothing to do with that. But that's part of the deaf, guys. But they want you to marry them and put a ring on their finger and worship the ground that they walk on. This will say, "Go girl, go." What happened to the sensible guys, the sensible women, guys, the righteous, virtuous women, the women that had a level of respect and honor? Look at this crap. What she do with her past this time is none of my concern as long as she get the work done. You see the justification, guys? Look at the comments. It's not that serious. Vote or don't vote, but she's setting women or black people back by twerking. At least this sister had, I don't know if it's a guy or a woman, but I agree with this brother or woman. I don't know what it is. It's a guy. It's a brother, yeah. Figure it was a guy because he got some sense. And I'm sure they're gonna get virtue. He gonna get virtue off for. I'm not gonna read all these comments, but guys, you see it. Let's look at the last one by this woman. Hold tight.
This is tacky. This is lazy. What? Baby girl. Baby girl. No, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Look at the attitude, guys. Look at that face. Look at that old ugly hound dog face. look at that hound dog face, guys. Shout out to my man Tim Howell. He said, "Protect your seed, gentlemen." No doubt. I agree with you guys 1,000%. Right, guys. With the understand the women abroad got issues too, but at least you got a better choice abroad. And so once again, guys, I need 5 guys. I need 5 brothers sitting back in the cut to adjust your imaginary crown. It's time for men to adjust their crowns too. It's time for the brothers to hold their head up and start marching forward. Take a deep breath. Inhale the good, exhale the bad. And start focusing on yourself and the type of quality woman that you want for your life. Because it's time out for men having to deal with the level of trash that modern men are dealing with. And the level of cognitive dissonance, guys, once again, it's appalling. Look at the attitude, guys. Let me show you guys something. Let me show you guys this clip that I created for you brothers and sisters. They're good brothers and sisters, by the way. Let me show you guys something. Hold on. I just downloaded something. I need to find it so I can show it to you guys. I don't know where the clip is at. Hold on. All right, here you go. All right. So this goes back to why men got to adjust. It's time for the men to adjust. And just like they want to adjust their crown, the adjusting of their crown is synonymous to their bad behavior. Watch this. We're going to break it down because I am the coach and clinician. And we're going to break this thing down. Hold tight. Attitude. Something that a lot of men are more or less angry about. A lot of men are frustrated about as it relates to Western women, regardless of the color or race or ethnic hue. The attitude, like this woman. This woman is a senator, guys, but look at her attitude. Nasty attitude. Negative attitude. Hold tight. Attitude. Look at her attitude. Hold on for a minute. Attitude. Pop in the neck. Set the race back with the center with this. They're right.
This is tacky. This is lazy. What? Baby girl. Baby girl. No, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Just like a child guy. Look at that attitude. Look at that ugly face. Look at that face. Nasty attitude. No accountability.
Honey, baby, this ain't it. Because
still not taking accountability.
I have an Ivy League degree.
This woman said, "I don't ever want to hear you complain about how women aren't respected in this country after posting this." And look at how she deflect, guys. She turned to a deflecticon. She deflected the whole time. Not taking accountability for her bad behavior. But she said, "I got an Ivy League degree." What does that have to do with you twerking your ass on the beach like a beach whale? What does that have to do with that? It has nothing to do with what this woman or man is saying. This sister is trying to hold her accountable. But she's justifying it. She said she got an Ivy League degree.
I believe the word that...
This person said to say what you want about the Republican Democrats supporting this content or not, this symbol will not get you elected. Right. Selling or peddling foolishness to unsuspecting voters. But we wonder why our culture is trash. We wonder why our culture is more or less going down the drains. Because once again, bad behavior is tolerated. Virtue is no longer a virtue.
I don't know why I'm justifying this with a response.
And so once again, I'm gonna finish showing you guys the information that I got, because Senator Mack is out of control. All right, hold on. So once again, guys, attitude, all-knowing. How many of you men have seen women like this? Y'all see the sister girl, the queen culture. You see the lips? She had the same duck lips, just like Senator Mack. Got a mouth all twisted and balled up. And when you present them with the evidence, they'll justify and say, oh, that's not all. But they make it look bad for the women that are striving to do the right thing. I don't tolerate or respect men like Raekwon and Man. They don't have my respect because they don't represent me and other brothers trying to do the right thing. But look at them lips. She personified the culture that so many people are trying to dissociate themselves from. All-knowing. Negative association with trash culture. That's attitude. They got alternate truths when it benefits them. How many times did you hear this woman, guys, trying to justify her bad behavior? An alternate truth, guys, when it benefits her. Alternate truth. Lacks empathy. Did she show any empathy based on what you guys saw? I didn't see any empathy. I didn't see a level of empathy. She didn't show any empathy for her bad behavior, but the whole time, guys, she tried to justify it. That's lack of self-awareness, and that's a cognitive distortion. The whole time, guys, not one time did she show any level of respect or level of respect for her bad behavior. My man James Turner said the bad part about this is that as a senator, she still won't do anything for black men and therefore furthering the destruction of the community. Right, because there is no community, brother. Narcissistic traits. Often deflects. You guys saw it. She is a deflecticon. Often deflects. You guys have seen it. She deflected the whole time instead of taking accountability for that bad behavior. But we wonder why our culture, guys, is in a state of disrepair. We wonder why. We wonder why. Masculine. How many of you guys think this woman was exhibiting masculine behavior? Because it looked very masculine to me. Very masculine. And also rebellious. That's a sign of a woman that's rebellious. Very rebellious. A woman that's rebellious. And also, guys, when you see behaviors like this, it's women that are dealing with vicarious trauma. Women that don't want to do the work to stop those bad behaviors, sadly. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, the second one is to adjust. The second one is to adjust, or the D in adjust, because once again, queen culture says I'm going to adjust my crown, but queen culture does not like to take accountability for bad behavior. So the D in adjust stands for diva. What you saw manifested in that woman was diva behavior. It was diva behavior, not a woman saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I didn't show any respect for my constituents. I disrespected my constituents. I should have been more responsive. I should have been more respectful. But she didn't say any of that, guys. She tried to justify her behavior because she is she's a diva. And what you guys see many times are divas manifesting in our culture, diva behavior. If you get with a woman, guys, she says she's a diva, you need to run from her because divas are actually demented. And many times divas are dangerous. But this woman is a diva. If you look at the Greek or the word or the root word for diva, a diva is a woman that some will associate with a demon. And this woman is a diva. No accountability, sassiness, justifying her bad behavior, trying to promote her agenda. And then when you call her out on her BS, she says that, you're doing it because, you don't like queers or whatever she probably damn say, but it's always a justification for the bad behavior. But we wonder why men are walking away. We wonder why men are saying, you know what, enough is enough. We wonder why men are saying that they need to get with women that have a higher level of virtue and women that have a higher level of respect. We wonder why. Because the more things change, guys, the more they remain the same. And men are getting frustrated with the options and the choices and the behaviors of so many modern women. So once again, the D, defiant. Many of these divas, guys, are very defiant. How many women have you known or met in life or culture that are defiant? This woman was very defiant in her behavior. She was very defensive because, remember, once again, she had to adjust her crown. She tried to adjust her crown. This woman was very disorderly. Women like her many times have high testosterone levels, domineering. This woman was demanding in how she delivered her message. This woman had no demure, something that many men are looking for. You men are looking for women that have a level of feminine demure. This woman is devious. Once again, she sold forth two agendas or killed two birds with one stone. She pushed her agenda to twerk for votes, but then on the flip side, she pushed her queer agenda and used it as a caveat to say that if you say anything about her bad behavior, you're doing it because you got issues with the alphabet community. It's always a copy out. It's always a justification of bad behavior. But we wonder why our culture is swimming in sewage. We wonder why our boys are reading below grade level. We wonder why our girls aren't acting like ladies anymore. But they'll tell you to go save the community. They want you to save the community. Dragging your knuckles, saving the community. She lacks discretion. And see, guys, she is typical, guys, of so many modern women. Devious. She's deceptive. She lacks discretion. Who would have thought a woman running for the Senate while she's adjusting her crown, justifying her bad behavior, would have thought that this kind of behavior was needed or merited? But she's devious. She's very deceptive, lack discretion. She loves drama. Look at the drama. She gets a tick out of this, guys. I'm dropping some fire for you guys, man. I'm dropping fire for
fire.
You. Get the likes up.
For
Thank
your
you,
mind.
brothers and sisters. Get the likes up. All the
culture,
soldiers.
clinician.
Get the likes up. Share the content. Share the stream. Hit the like button. If you haven't donated, donate to the channel. Donate at Cash App, $7 Smalls. If you don't have any money to donate, that's fine. Just share the stream. If you share the stream, you help me share the growth and share the process. And I think you guys like what I'm doing. And so if you like what I'm doing, to the 37 that are watching, share the stream. Respect me by sharing this stream, hitting all notifications, and hitting the like button. Thank you. That helps me grow. I appreciate it, guys. But back to topic. Loves drama. This woman, guys, is egocentric. She thinks that what she's doing is right. And once again, guys, that's a byproduct of delusion. She's delusional in her behavior because, once again, she has egocentric. Egocentric is what this woman is exhibiting because she is delusional. And that often is associated with divas. A for attitude, D for diva, and we're going to get to the J in a minute. But they say that, and the defense mechanism comes from adjust. When you call them out on their BS, they say, I'm going to adjust my crown. And that's why you men need to adjust your crowns and change the law in your mind. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. And when you can't or don't know how to change the law in your mind, then you got to damn be like water. Because the more you change the law in your mind, the more you be like water, the less you become a slave to the behaviors of so many of these modern women. And listen, it ain't all the sisters. There are some good women that are striving to do the right thing. But it makes it hard for them to do the right thing when they don't get the support that they need. Shout out to my sister, Red Lipstick Vibe. How you doing, sweetie? Shout out to her. But once again, delusional, devious, deceptive, lacks discretion, loves drama, egocentric, delusional, defined, the D as it relates to diva. She said, when you call them out, I got to adjust. And it's time for you men to adjust your crowns as well. Hold tight. All right, the next letter is J. This woman was justified in her bad behavior because, like so many modern women that are wayward, they got a Jezebel spirit. And we're going to talk about it in a minute because the woman on this screen is actually Jezebel. But hold tight, I'm going to show it to you. They justified their bad behavior. They justify bad behavior. They lack empathy. Many of them lack empathy. She wasn't empathetic to her constituents or her supporters that voted for her. She justified her bad behavior by trying to use a counterattack. Narcissistic traits. The whole time she talked about herself, her accomplishments, using terms like baby girl, which is a form of arrogance. A Jezebel spirit, using her body for power and control. This woman lacks awareness, cognitive distortions. She manipulates men because some sense, they love that round bottom that she got, and they probably give her their vote. Women like her often hates men. The end justified the means. Now I want you guys to think about that one. The end justified the means. She's basically saying that her behavior was justifiable. The end results of her bad behavior actually justified the means. And so she's saying that her bad behavior, guys, is justifiable. And so once again, guys, how can we have a more perfect union when you got behaviors like this woman? How can you have a more perfect union when you got behaviors like this woman? She says to the end justifies the means. But once again, guys, we're wondering why our culture is faltering in a social cesspool. We wonder why. And like Red Slips' Vibe said, low vibrational women. You're right. She is low vibrational. Let's listen to it. Hold tight. All right. The next one is unsavory. It's the U in adjusting her crown. It is the U in adjusting her crown. Useless for traditional relationships. Unstable. This woman appears to be an opportunist. A woman of propaganda. Useless for traditional relationships. Some of you men are looking for traditional relationships. But you got women like Senator Mack that's more or less not, exhibiting behavior that warrants that of a righteous woman. Shout out to my man, Marcus B. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it, brother. Marcus said that I'm just dropping into place something in the collection play. I will watch the replay. Much respect, no doubt. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, brother Marcus. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Jimmy and Taylor Perry. They say righteous women have to be strong enough to be their own best friends if they cannot find others with similar values. I have done so my entire life. No doubt, sis. No doubt. You're 1,000% correct. Shout out to her. But once again, guys, this is the world that we live in. This woman is unsavory in her pronouncements. Very unsavory. Very unsavory in her pronouncements. This woman is disagreeable. You saw the attitude, the disagreeableness, because once again, guys, she got to adjust her crown. Adjusting her crown is a sign of arrogance and hubris. Adjusting her crown means more than her taking accountability for that bad behavior. And that's why, guys, once again, you got to adjust your crown. Mean-spirited, manipulative, unfeminine, and she also is an opportunist. Take notes, guys, because you're going to begin to see more women like this. And once again, women like this make it bad for women that are striving to do the right thing. Imagine we had a society of women that yearn or live to do the right thing. And you're right, Lavelle Robinson. She definitely has a Jezebel spirit. That's part of the J and adjustment. Hold tight. That's part of the J and adjustment. Justified in what she did. Justifies bad behavior. The Jezebel spirit. I just talked about it a minute ago. She has a Jezebel spirit. She uses her body to captivate the hearts and the minds of weak men. And women like that don't respect men because men of them are just like Aunt Essa, you know, what we call, and shout out to my man Top Gun, a granny serpent, older women. They use power and coercion and disrespect to the men. Listen to her.
What did we do to her? You mean what did she do to us? She had the nerve to call us witches. And she was right. You three ugly witches.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, hold tight. Hold tight, hold tight. All right, useless for traditional relationships, unstable, because women like this are unsavory. That's the you in adjusting your crown. Unsavory, useless for traditional relationships, unstable. Some of you men are looking for traditional women. You're looking for women that are going to hold you down. You're looking for women that are going to honor you and respect you as men. You're looking for women that are not going to put you in a predicament where you're going to have this. And a woman like her and many modern women will give you guys ego dystonia. And you don't need ego dystonia. You need to have an ego that's happy and fulfilled, not one that's full of grief and distress. A woman like her, once again, she's manipulative. She's unfeminine. And once again, guys, she is an opportunist. Unsavory. She's an unsavory woman. She's not a righteous woman. Uses for traditional relationships. Many of these model women are very unstable, full of propaganda, mean-spirited, manipulative, and, once again, an opportunist. That's the U in adjusting her crown. Then the next one is the S. All right, so the next one is sexual. That's the S in the adjustment of her crown. So many men are frustrated with the quality of women that we have that they begin to check out or more or less become indifferent. And the opposite of hate is indifference. A lot of men are becoming very indifferent now as it relates to dealing with the shenanigans of modern women. They're becoming indifferent. Many modern women are very sexual. They celebrate 304 culture. You guys know what a 304 is. They celebrate it. They are shameless. A righteous woman is a woman that's shameful instead of shameless. They feel entitled to your resources. They feel entitled to your time. They have no grace or gratitude for what you do for them. This woman has no gratitude for her constituents because she did, she would have never got up there twerking. She's lewd. She's full of lasciviousness, which is as a form of being lewd. She's a lust provocateur. I'm going to say it again. Many modern women have become lust provocateurs. They use lust as a way to propagate immorality in the hearts of the men. They know what they're doing. But see, here's a caveat. Because so many women now don't leave anything to the imagination of a man, they're used to breasts and round behinds and camel toes. Now men don't really care about no kitty cats and bodies as much as they used to because they see it so much. There was a time in the past that women left something to the imagination of a man. But they don't leave anything to the imagination of a man anymore. Nothing is left to his imagination. Nothing is left. And that's why men are not as appealing to modern women. They don't see any value in them. No value at all. Shout out to my man Top Gun. Top Gun said that I blame the pookies that set the standards and tolerate and uphold this BS in hopes of dropping that skyhook more than I blame these unstable species. No doubt. I appreciate it, man. You're 1,000% correct, Top Gun. Men set the template and men set standards. And we all have been guilty of dealing with some of these miscreants or some of these unsavory women. We all have been guilty of it. But if men would begin to set higher standards, then the women would not fall prey to some of the negative behaviors that we're dealing with. Shout out to my man, my sister Red Lipstick Vibes. She said, woo, this is on point, no doubt. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. Join in a few minutes. You can pop on and we can chop it up, Sweet Lipstick Vibe. I was looking for my man Shannon Rawls, but I don't know where Shannon's at. I don't know where he's at. I thought he was going to drop through. But I'm going to keep preaching anyway. Actually, I might have to give him a call in a minute. But once again, they celebrate 304 behavior. They celebrate 304s. They are shameless. They're entitled. Many have histrionic traits. A person that have histrionic traits, they use their body for sexual attention. They use their bodies for sexual attention. What are the examples of histrionic traits? Exaggerated crying, unnecessary yelling, and overdone gestures are all examples of histrionics. Like real emotional reactions, histrionics are fake and intend to manipulate others. What are some of the symptoms of histrionic women? Because they tend to be more in women. A person with histrionic personality disorder seeks attention, talks dramatically with strong opinions, is easily influenced, has rapidly changing emotions, and thinks that they are closer than they are. Not saying this senator had histrionic traits, not saying they're always histrionic personality, but it makes you wonder. There's a lot of unresolved mental illness walking around, even in high office and in high places. And it's unfortunate because we see it all the time. My man Lavelle Robinson said every prophecy for the kingship, King Ahab was about the death because he allowed Jezebel to do whatever she wanted to do. Even God hates simps. You know, no doubt, brother. I agree with you 100%, Lavelle. You're right, brother. You're 1,000% correct. But once again, guys, I'm gonna keep going through this. I was waiting on my man Shannon. I don't know if he's gonna come through or not. Shannon, if you're listening, I'm waiting on you, brother. You said you would be available tonight. I'm shouting to my man Michael Green for that $5 super sticker. He said, for information is power. No doubt, Mike. I appreciate it, dog. Appreciate it, Michael. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you for your kindness, sir. And thank you to all the brothers and sisters that have donated tonight. I really appreciate it. I know times are very tight. Times are tight. Gas is high and stress is high. So when you guys give to the stream, whether you give money or share the stream, it empowers me to work even harder. And I really appreciate all that you brothers and sisters do as I try to strive to bring clear balance and clarity and also quality content to the righteous men and women that are striving to do the right thing. But once again, histrionic traits, they love attention. Some of these women are attention addicts, guys. They are attention addicts. They love attention. Did she do it for the votes, or did she do it for attention, or did she do it for both? This woman is a lust provocateur. She loves the attention. Attention is the new drug for many modern women. It's a dopamine hit. And you can see the sassiness in her face and the sassiness with her mouth. sexual behavior, loves validation. They love simps. They love hyena simps at that. They love the hyena simp. They love men that justify their bad behavior. And also, guys, they love lies and validation because many of them lie to themselves. And many times, women like that, guys, also love drama. They love drama because if they can get you in their emotional triangle, guys, guess what? They can control you. Men are expected to not be emotional, but men are expected to be logical. But if a woman can get you in her emotional triangle, then she can control you. And if she's controlling you, guys, then you're not operating in masculinity. You're operating in your feminine hard drive. And that's not good for you as men that are trying and striving to do the right thing. All right, so that's the S in the adjustment of her crown. That is the S as she's trying to adjust her crown. The next one. All right, that's the last one. It is the T in the adjustment of her crown. The T. These women are very tenacious. They're wolves in sheep clothing, many of them. That's why I keep telling you guys that I'm not spellbound by women that say that they are righteous women. I'm not spellbound by them because guess what? Eventually their true color will manifest itself. A person can't hide their intentions but for so long. They can't hide it. Eventually their true nature is going to manifest itself. But these women are very tenacious. What do I mean by tenacious? They're very predatorial. They feel that the end justifies the means. She thought it was justifiable for her to do what she did regarding that bad behavior. This woman thought it was justified that she do what she did. The end justifies the means. How many of you men have dealt with women that say that what they do, their end behavior, justifies the means? I've seen it, and many of you brothers have seen it. Bad behavior, but the end, once again, justifies the means. This woman was tactless. It's the T in the adjustment of your crown. She was very tactless. Many talk and they say nothing. Many talk and say nothing. And how many of you men have seen women like her? They're all fluff, but they add nothing to the intellectual conversation as it relates to community life and humanity. They add nothing. And so what you guys are seeing is what many are seeing. Many brothers are checking out. They're checking out because they're tired. They're checking out because they are broken in so many ways. They're checking out because they feel like the current women that they're seeing now don't add any clarity or any level of decorum to their lives. And it's unfortunate because you can't have a community without a strong family. And it's unfortunate. Guys, give me a minute. I'm trying to see if I can get in contact with my man, Shannon, real quick. We were supposed to be talking about this tonight. He said he was going to drop through. But Shannon's a damn Gemini, so you never know with him. Them Geminis ain't going to pick the phone. They ain't going to pick up the phone, man. Hold on. So, guys, give me 1 minute.
Always dance and sing. You're captivating me. All I need is to know that I'm in your heart. and never be apart. All I need is not to feel so much alone. So step inside my zone, baby. I can give you everything you want, everything you want. You are all I need now. It's crazy, but it's true. You're all I need. Everything will be alright. Wanna go now. Take me to
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm busy talking, man. Got the thing on mute. But anyway, once again, that was more or less the breakdown of adjusting. The A in attitude, the J in justified behavior, the D in diva, I'm sorry, the J in justified, the U in unsavory, the S as in stable and sexualized, and the T in tenacious. And that's what you guys are seeing once again in women like Senator Mack. So we wonder once again why our culture is so broken. We wonder why. We wonder why. Shout out to my man William Graves, not William Graves, my man DC for the $5 super sticker. He said that black women show more respect to the LGBTQ feminist organization, non-black organizations, as black men have to remain firm and check bad behavior. No doubt, brother. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So, guys, I'm going to ask you guys a question. We're going to drop the link in a few minutes. Can you guys hear that music in the background? If y'all can hear it, hit 1. If it's too loud, let me know. I don't know if you guys can hear that music in the background. But once again, I was waiting on Shannon, but I don't know where he's at. So anyway, show got to go on. Show must go on. So I'm going to drop the link in a minute, guys. We're going to talk about, once again, the behaviors associated with Senator, can't think of her name, Senator Mack. Why you think those behaviors are not only unsavory for the fortification of the black community, but why you are disgusted and what this means for many men, as many men are checking out, because men are looking for women that can sustain them, uphold them, make them feel proud, and also make them feel respected. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. So once again, guys, these conversations are important, man. Very important. So once again, guys, I'm going to drop the link in a minute. I want to hear from the men. I want to hear from the women. What say you about behaviors associated with Senator Mack? Did Senator Mack know what she was doing? Was her behaviors justified? And what does it mean as men continue to move forward and seek higher vibrational women that can not only help them become better men, but help them become better contributors to society and also contributors to legacy and community building, whatever little bit of community that we have left. So once again, guys, I'm going to drop the link. Give me a minute. I'm going to drop the link, guys. Right, Tierra Mack. I'm going to drop the link, guys. I'm going to chop up some comprehensive game. So once again, I'm going to drop the link. We'll chop it up, guys. Hold tight. All right, so what do you guys think about the acronyms that I broke down concerning Senator Mack? What do you guys think? Call in now as we have a comprehensive conversation. Do they really know what they are doing? Is their behavior justified in what they are doing? Do they know? Are they complicit in their bad behavior? How are you brothers beginning to try to move as it relates to these deranged women with ego centonia? Shout out to my man, Coach Sir Hell Speaks. No doubt, brother. Shout out. Sir Hell Speaks, maybe you want to pop in, man. Please do. Guys, the link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about some of these behaviors. Because once again, guys, if you don't learn to change the law in your mind, you will be a slave to not only her wicked shenanigans, but also, guys, you'll be a slave to some of the behaviors that are associated not with greatness, but associated with debauchery and associated with negative outcomes. As I said before in the past, you got to change the law in your mind, but also like Bruce Lee, you got to be like water.
That's ISO. Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and
Yeah, you got to be like water when it comes down to dealing with these modern women, dealing with these hyenas, men and women, because the male hyenas will throw you under the bus, and the women hyenas will try to take away your masculinity. So the link has been dropped, guys. What say you about the behaviors associated with Senator Mack, Senator Tierra Mack, some of the women? I would love to hear from you. Feel free to pop in. Let's have a conversation. Because right now it's a monologue, not a dialogue. But I want to hear from some of the men and the women about, Senator Tierra Mack. Was her behavior deplorable? Was her behavior justifiable? Is her behavior synonymous to bad behavior that we see in many modern women? So once again, guys, the link has been dropped. Let's have a conversation. What do you guys think about Senator Tierra Mack? Once again, the link's been dropped. Call in. Like I said, I was looking for my man Shannon, but he never came in, guys. So what's wrong with Senator Tierra Mack? Is it justified? Did she know any better? Is her behavior more of the same? Is her behavior more of the same? So once again, guys, if you guys want to come in, let's have a conversation. The link has been dropped. Are you guys getting tired of behaviors like what you're seeing now? Shout out to my man, The Rock Den. Shout out, brother. How you doing, sir? So, to the men or the women listening, give me some feedback. I'm waiting for the feedback. What do you guys think about Senator Tierra Mack? Behavior justified, behavior not justified. My man Lavelle Robinson said that psychopaths make a means to poison or control the mind. So anyone who seeks to control your mind or emotions for their own personal gain is deploying witchcraft. So women use these tactics. They are witches, no doubt. I respect that, brother. Respect. So once again, guys, call in for the conversation if you want to add to it. I'm going to start having a toll-free line at some point where I allow people to call in and talk about it. Conversations that are pertinent to moving forward. So, all right, hold on. So do I have any contributors? Do I have anybody that want to call in? All right, got one. LTR. All right, there we go. Lavelle. All right, Lavelle, how you doing, brother? Let me turn this music off. How you doing, brother Lavelle? Can you hear me? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Lavelle.
I am well. How are you? I'm well. How are you?
It's been a minute, brother. How you doing? Let me turn this music off. Hold on.
I'm good.
All right. So brother Lavelle, what do you think about Senator Tierra Mack? Because some will argue the more things change, the more they remain the same. What's your take on Senator Tierra Mack? Thank you, Tim Howard. But what's your take on Senator Tierra Mack, her shenanigans? What's your take on that breakdown that I had about her nefarious behavior as it relates to adjusting? And why is it so important for men to adjust their crowds?
Well, That's kind of a loaded question. It's a lot of different.
It's loaded. It's loaded. It is loaded. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll start with one. Then I don't want to overload you. What's wrong with Senator Tierra Mack's behavior?
I mean, it just kind of just exemplifies not necessarily everything that's wrong with today, but with relationships between men and women, but just how things have kind of like just spiraled out of control, and we're like on this downward spiral with regaining not necessarily equality, because I don't think equality between men and women really should exist. I think we both have, how can I explain this without sounding too much like a chauvinist? We have our own roles. Okay. We serve each other better when we are operating in our roles as men and women versus basically fighting for this level of equality that kind of really don't exist. Because men very much need women to be who they are in their natural roles as nurturers and so on and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? In their rightful place, just like women need men to be men in their rightful place, and being leaders and providers and protectors and so on and so forth.
Right.
So when we got the LGBTQ community and feminist movement have kind of sold women a bad paradigm. You know what I mean? With this level of they want to have this independence from men, or they want to have this attitude where they feel like they can do whatever they want to do and still be expected for, just like we've always talked about on this show.
Right.
They want to be modern women and be able to allow to do whatever they want to do, but they still want men to act in their traditional roles.
Right.
But it's conditional for them to be feminine, for them to be submissive, and so on and so forth. It's like we have to meet certain conditions. And I kind of, being able to go around the world because I have a passport and so on and so forth, not necessarily around the world, but experiencing different cultures.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And you kind of get to see how, like, in other cultures, not to, brag or boast or anything, but like men from America have more to offer. You understand what I'm saying? As it relates to finances and our lifestyle in America. You understand what I'm saying? However, the women in America act like they don't need us, and they create these conditions for us to be respected and to be to get our just due as men. But when you go to other cultures, especially like Latin American countries and so on and so forth, the men has way left to offer, but women still value those men as men, because they understand that having masculine energy around them, you understand what I'm saying, provides them a certain level of protection from other men and also foreign enemies. You know what I mean? Just having masculine energy around you. It may not be the best man or the most financially sound man, and so on and so forth. But most women in Latin American countries, they still give men, their just due and their respect as men. And that's kind of like something that's just like lost or foreign as it relates to men and, the relationship between men and women in America. And it's like I said, it's just getting, I don't want to be, the bearer of bad news, but it's like it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Oh, yeah. It's prophetic, man. It's definitely getting worse and worse. Every time I see your name, I think about LTD, love, together, and devotion. And, back then in the 70s, there was love, togetherness, and devotion. There was a love for country. There was a love for family. There was a love for faith.
Right.
There was togetherness because men and women worked together. They weren't perfect. They weren't perfect. They had their issues, but they were together. And then there was devotion to the cause of masculinity, but also there was devotion to the cause of family and patriotism. Right. But now, young man, we don't have that. My heart goes out to you because as a Gen Xer, I remember a time where there was a semblance of normalcy, but now up is down and down is up.
Wow.
And this woman, Tierra Mack, is an example of unchecked behavior. It's an example of very violent and very bad behavior. And it's an example of women that don't do the proper self-introspection. To the point now, when you call them out on their BS or their bad behavior, they say, "Oh, child, I'm going to adjust my crown." But watch this, LTR. It's time for men to also adjust their crowns. And so when I broke down the whole concept of adjusting, I used the acronym A for attitude, D for diva, J for justified, S for sexualized. J for justified, U for unsavory, S for sexualized, and T for tenacious. What does it mean to you when a woman say, "I'm going to adjust my crown"? Because to me, it's an active decree of defiance. But what does it mean to you?
It's that sneaky hate, that sneaky, that sneaky indifference. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want to. It's like they're not. It's like passive aggression. You understand what I'm saying, towards men, or microaggression towards men. You understand what I'm saying? They don't like following you, or you know what I mean, or don't like you curtailing their behavior, or so to speak. So they say things like, I'm going to adjust my, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to adjust my crown, instead of humbling themselves and submitting to not necessarily your authority, but being in a situation where you have a workable relationship. You know what I mean? Whereas,
well, I'm going to challenge you, because they should submit to your authority. They submit to the laws of the land. So why not submit to the man that's protecting you and trying to love you? We've been so conditioned, LTR, to placate to PC norms that words like obey and submission are seen as bad. But when you look at submission in the context of its fullness, the synonym for submit means to agree. Men and women both submit, but they submit in different ways. She submits to his authority, ordinance, power, and the power broker is the man. He submits or agrees to love her, protect her, and die for her if he have to. It's a fair exchange. But, nowadays, modern women don't want fair exchange. They want the whole shebang. They want to flip it when it benefits her. And that's what Senator Mack did. Shout out to my man, D.I.V.A. He gave me a $20 bomb. Hold tight. Let me show that brother some love. He said that a 20 super sticker, he didn't say anything.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
I appreciate it, brother.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Surprise. But once again, the acronyms that I use, LTR, were you looking at the show? I don't know if you came in late. But
I came in a little bit late, just a little bit.
Okay, all right. So what? Okay, all right. So what else did you gather from the Holy Spirit of Tierra Mack? What else did you gather from our Holy Spirit?
Like I was basically saying before, that that story of Ahab and Jezebel. You know what I mean? At one point, I had to go to a Bible study where the teacher actually broke it down to where it made like perfect sense. You know what I mean? What the issues was in the story between Jezebel and Ahab. You understand what I'm saying? Some of us men, we still, we have that simp nature, that Ahab nature, where we feel that we don't want to put in the work, so we use these supplements. You understand what I'm saying? We use these supplements to basically manipulate women into following us, but it kind of works against us in a way, because, you know what I'm saying? In every relationship, in order for it to work, it's going to take two people willing to work together, actually work on themselves and agree to work together to, make the relationship work, make the relationship last, and so on and so forth. So that's what in every relationship, that's basically what you're going to end up having to do. But in modern society, we kind of want to skip steps. You understand what I'm saying? So the way we skip steps is, just like Steve Harvey was saying, how he basically messed up Lori Harvey by giving her everything she wanted. So now any man that she gets with, you understand what I'm saying? Any man that she gets with is kind of he was basically saying that he feel bad for Michael B. Jordan because any man that she get with ain't gonna be able to please her because she's used to getting whatever she want when she wanted. He said he said he would buy cars, houses, ponies, whatever it is that she wanted, he would give it to her. You understand what I'm saying? Unless a man can match him financially, no man is gonna be good enough for her.
Right. And the sad thing is, LTR, what does she have to offer as a woman? See, the redeeming value of a woman in the past was a level of being chaste. She didn't have any kids, and she was wife ready. That was what men got in the past, like my grandfather and my dad. That's what they got. But men now are getting women with a lot of baggage. But they still expect to get top tier men. And then Real Talk said that he's right. He said that they only submit to the zaddy with the paycheck or the pastor who is a cuck in a fake church that goes against the Bible. No doubt, I agree with you, brother. And men, or the men that actually do it, I'm not going to generalize all men, but they got to take a level of accountability for it as well, because the women can only get what the men allow. And this kind of behavior is not conducive to mental wellness or mental wholeness. Because the ego dystonia, man, is unreal. What else was going through your mind, man, when you saw the shenanigans of Senator Mack? What else was going on in your mind, going through your mind?
Basically, like I said, going back to how things are starting to downward spiral, people have lost that the lesson of delayed gratification. We live in this microwave society where people feel like I said, we're starting to create this behavior to where we want to skip steps. We don't want to work for things. We don't want to work. We don't want to put in the work, even when it comes down to being in relationships and being, going through things as a family, like different, I guess, situations that you go through being in a relationship to where you kind of learn, you gel and learn and have chemistry and understand that you can go through difficult times and so on and so forth. It's like people are demanding things to be, this level of perfection that don't even exist. You know what I mean? Like anybody in the world is capable of disappointing you in any way that you can imagine. You know what I'm saying? Just because someone disappoints you or there's some type of, a tough time in a relationship and so on and so forth, don't mean that you should just throw away the relationship and, you know what I mean? Like, or throw a person away. Sometimes you have to go through things to get a better understanding of where you are and where you stand and how to work things out with people. But these situations that we, keep going through or keep witnessing, it's like people want to skip steps. And like I said, they want to use these supplements like money and gifts. And, that stuff has its place. I'm not saying that shouldn't be a part of the relationship. You understand what I'm saying? But it should be a level of if I'm receiving something, you understand what I'm saying? At some point I have to reciprocate what I'm receiving. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Not necessarily in monetary means, but just like you were saying, you understand, proving my worth as it relates to the relationship where you understand what I'm saying? I'm doing something of value for you as well to, you know what I'm saying? Basically deserve what it is that you have to offer me. So in that regard, like, we've talked about before, in a fair exchange is not a robbery.
Right, fair exchange is no robbery. Yes, sir. It's no exchange. There's no robbery in fair exchange. Yes, sir.
Right. Nobody's being taken advantage of. It's kind of like, give and take. You know what I'm saying? You don't let somebody give to the point that it hurts. You give back because, you know what I mean? You want to keep that level of respect and that level of, workability within the relationship. You know what I mean? Where people are working together to get along and have quality relationships with people. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not just one-sided to where it's just all about me and me taking and me getting what I get out of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Which seem to be a lot of the mindset of a lot of most of these modern women. It's all about them. They want these one-sided relationships where they don't necessarily even stop to think. You understand what am I what am I reciprocating in this relationship? And then when you so and then like also too, those words like submit become cuss words.
Right. You know what
I mean? Like asking her to submit is like cussing her out, because she want to be so spoiled to the point that she don't even have to imagine. She don't have to, you know what I mean? She want to do what she want to do when she want to do it. And it's just like, at some point, if a man has respect for himself, you understand what I'm saying, has more respect for him, at some point, he's going to have to demand something back, right? A demand that the woman reciprocate something. Just out of respect for yourself.
Well, you know, LTR women had that kind of virtue. And guys, before, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Give me a minute, LTR. I want to ask them a question. I'm going to bring you back. To the 35 that are watching, guys, I need your help. How many of you guys got your notifications on? Because the show's beginning now, but I don't know if you guys have notifications on. If you have your notifications on, to the 35 that are watching, hit 1. Hit 1 now if your notifications are on. Make sure you hit all notifications, like, share, and subscribe. So, guys, I need you to hit the notification button, because I don't know if it's the algorithm doing it. I don't know if, I don't know. YouTube is funny, but hit the algorithm, guys. Not hit the algorithm, but hit the notification button or the like and share button to make sure you guys are getting these streams, because some people are saying when the shows come on, they're not getting notifications. And I don't know. LTR, when the show comes on, do you get notifications or? Do you get notifications?
I get notifications. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, guys, hit the notification buttons and I want to make sure these streams are going through. And I appreciate you guys, the 32 that are watching, supporting the stream. But let me ask you another question, LTR. What does it mean to you as a young man to adjust your crown? Because many talk about adjusting their crown, but what does it mean to you to adjust your crown as a man? And before you answer that question, what are some of the deficits that you have experienced as a man dealing with, women of the West and their bad behaviors?
Adjusting my crown to me means, getting your manhood back. You understand what I'm saying? Going back into the things that necessarily make you happy as a man outside of what a woman does for you. You understand what I'm saying? So, building yourself back together, they say that, there's a saying, the child is father to the man. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Going back to those things to where those things you love to do in your childhood, you understand what I'm saying? Not necessarily going all the way back into, a childlike state, but some of the things that you enjoy to do that was separate from what you get from a woman. You know what I mean? So adjusting your crown to me means getting your manhood back. You understand what I'm saying? And to some degree, because I recently went through a divorce. So I had to basically, the lesson that I learned from my divorce is to stop overcompensating. You understand what I'm saying? Because
what does that mean to you? Break that down.
Overcompensating, right? Sometimes we lack time, or we lack certain things in our maybe in our character, or maybe in our personality, or so on and so forth. And we use material things or money or finances or something to basically, like I said, become a supplement to those things that you are lacking, right? And sometimes when you are giving someone, I guess, too much control, like you're doing things that they wouldn't do for you, basically. Things that you wouldn't, things that if you was to ask for, something of equal value back, they look at you like you're crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I've learned that me personally, I have to stop overcompensating for people to like me. If they don't like me for who I am,
right,
or they don't like me for who I am and what I have to offer, then that's just some company that I just kind of don't. Mm-hmm. I don't need to neglect myself to the extent that I'm given to the point that I'm hurting. Mm-hmm. You understand? I'm given to the point that I'm hurting. that's something that you understand what I'm saying? I had to come to terms with. You know what I mean? For myself. So basically, like I said, stop overcompensating for others who wouldn't do the same for you.
No. I totally agree, and thank you guys for it was to a few that answered the question, because it makes you wonder sometimes if the algorithm is doing crazy stuff. I've heard several times people told me this platform should be a lot bigger than what it is, and I agree. But it makes me wonder if the algorithm is doing crazy stuff, because sadly, many times conversations that are pertaining to masculinity and male empowerment often is met with a level of disdain and ill repute. But you talked about overcompensation. Once again, thank you, Philip Williams, but you talked about overcompensation to the people that are watching. But how many men, in your opinion, do you think overcompensate now in relationships, and what is the byproduct of it? Is the byproduct of being simps? What's your take on that? Before you answer the question, shout out to my man, MC Recovering Wellness, for that $5 super sticker. Thank you, MC Recovering Wellness. Great brother, always supporting the streams. I really appreciate it. And guys, I want to say it again. I'm forever grateful for the people that donate to this channel. I know times are tight. Gas is crazy high. MC Recovery is in California. So listen, I'm grateful for whatever you guys do. I don't expect the world. I'm forever grateful. So I just want to take the time to thank you, brothers and sisters that watch and listen to the show, and show a level of gratitude, because I know times are tight. And so when you guys show your support with your resources, your time, and also your finances, once again, it empowers me to continue to push forward to help you guys get the outcomes that you all need. But I want to ask you another question. So I asked you about how you adjusted, or where you make errors in relationships, but if you had to use acronyms that personify how you're going to adjust moving forward, what would the A stand for? And I'm going to show you, once again, I don't know if you remember my whole question. I said so much. I asked you several things, but I'm getting fog brain right now. But let me show you guys something real quick. I'm going to show it to you. Give me a minute. So I don't know if you saw this coming in, LTR, but one of them I talked about was attitude. Attitude. To the watch, if another man or woman want to pop in, call in, guys. We're gonna have a conversation about the nefarious behaviors of Senator Tierra Mack. But attitude. When you look at all the symbolic association I have with this acronym of adjust, because some will say adjust their crown, what's your take on all of this, man? What's your take on all of this that you're seeing?
My take on what I'm seeing on this is, like you were saying, well, all knowing, just to tackle with that, you know what I mean? It's like impossible to know everything, but sometimes we have, unkept mental health issues, or undiagnosed mental health issues that we may be unaware of or haven't discovered, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, we kind of have these, these negative behavior traits, you know what I mean? And I see being a know-it-all, you understand what I'm saying, is one of those negative behavior traits. Often deflects, not taking personal respect, often when you deflect from taking accountability for certain things that are in your, confronting situations that you need to change for yourself. That's kind of where you go into those areas where you deflect. Negative associations with trash culture, right? And that's a huge problem right there. Much of our culture as African Americans have been given to us, so we need to come to grips with understanding how to define our own culture, or we associate with this negative trash that's given to us by media and what people say our culture is, others who are dictating to us what our culture is, and so on and so forth. Alternative truths when it benefits them. The reason I laugh at that is because sometimes people live in their own little world, their own little universe, and they believe they believe just because they believe something, they think it's a fact or they think it's truth, right? Without actually committing time or taking a break to actually educate themselves on, the definition of words or the definition of things, or finding, like, not to sound like a Bible thumper or anything, but like not leaning to your own understanding on how things work. Talking about masculine, that's another thing that another negative trait, another negative behavior trait that we have, that is going on in the, and kind of going on with men and women, what I mean? Because women are becoming more and more, I like to say, dominant, you know what I'm saying? And those behaviors appear to be masculine and so on and so forth. And the world is dictating us to this different type of masculinity where, depending on what day it is, it's kind of weird the definition of what we call masculine, because, the world was able to change Bruce Jenner, who is a dominant alpha masculine athlete, and reduce him to, what's his new name? I forgot his new name. His new name is Caitlyn Jenner, I believe, right? That might be right. But like, just things like that. So it's like, we have to, in my opinion, I feel like we need to redefine or re-educate ourselves on what it actually truly means to be masculine. You understand what I'm saying? As men, and we set the standard for that without women being involved with that. You know what I mean? That without women giving us interjecting what they feel or think masculinity is, because masculinity actually has nothing to do with a woman. The actual definition of masculinity is attributes or characteristics that pertain to men. Mm-hmm. So what true masculinity is has nothing to do with what a woman says or does. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So like, just getting back to like these fundamental things to where we are defining what goes as men, and allow women to figure out, their own energy as feminine, as the counterpart. They figure out their own energy and what femininity is, and then we both kind of, set these standards and have these conversations to how we're going to work together to meet these standards. This give and take. You know what I mean? That give and take, back to that give and take, to where neither one of us are more important than the other, but we can come to the table and agree to disagree, and try to work things out to where we have these conversations, getting back together and figuring out how we're going to meet each other's needs in a realistic way.
Right. Would you say that overall, based on what you learned from your prior marriage, what did you learn from your prior marriage, man, that you're going to take as a talking point to help you become a better man moving forward?
Man, it's so many lessons that I learned. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we are the cause of our own suffering because we put up with things longer than we should. You understand what I'm saying? But at some point, you have to be willing to work things out and to be patient with others and so on and so forth. But in my situation where I basically had to go to treatment, right? Mm-hmm. And I was basically asking my spouse to basically participate in the treatment in the form of at least going to a support group, right? So with that being said, there's support. I know you understand. There's support groups for if you live with or you're dealing with someone who has behavior health or mental health issues, and so on and so forth. They have support groups to where you can go and they can educate you on how to basically manage your own mental health and so on and so forth, and teach you ways to support your loved one. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But some people, they feel that they're perfect. You understand? They feel like they don't have any issues, or they don't have anything that they need to work on personally. So they feel that, therapy or treatment is just for crazy people.
Right. Even therapists need therapy. Right.
Yeah.
Right, because we're human.
Yeah, because and one of the things that I try to convey to my spouse is that that's not true. You understand what I'm saying? It's just about when you have some difficult times or whatever, just being able to have a neutral party help you to unpackage things in a neutral, where that person is not on either person's side. They just kind of be in a sounding board and help you unpackage things and find solutions to your problems. You understand what I'm saying? But for you to deflect and to feel like you don't have any problems, you want to make it one side and make the problems be, the other person. And I'm pretty sure you and I both know, dealing with people with mental health issues will give you mental health issues. Mm-hmm. Just like dealing with a person with anger issues. If you hang around a person with anger issues long enough, you understand what I'm saying? You're going to start to have anger issues as well, because you have to, you understand what I'm saying? You have to deal with that person's weaknesses and so on and so forth. When you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So with that.
Let me read out this super stick, Rick. Hold tight. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Shout out to Rock the Den. He said that this is their thought process of running circles around the man while looking in the mirror and circling the drain. No doubt.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Rock Den, feel free to pop in. Some of the women feel free to pop in too, about the nefarious behavior of Senator Mack. Some say that what she did was preposterous. Some are actually justifying her bad behavior. And LTR, you appear to be a millennial, right? How old are you, sir? About 35?
No, I'm 42.
Okay, 42. Okay, so you're
42.
So you're Gen X, right?
Mm-hmm. Just turned 42.
Okay, Gen X, right. And what's the greatest change you've seen in the behaviors of women now compared to your formative years as a young man?
They kind of got out of control with this independent behavior. Like they claim to be independent, but it's just like, again, certain things that we subscribe to, certain paradigms or thoughts and stuff, so on and so forth. It's like we don't live in a world by ourselves. You're always going to need someone else, right? You know what I mean? You don't grow your own food. You don't make your own clothes. You don't hunt. You know what I'm saying? So like this attitude that some women have are just unrealistic. Mm-hmm. And because they have somewhat of a safety net, they're able to make these horrible decisions and drag the whole family with them.
Right.
They're able to make these out of their indifference or impatience or intolerance, they're able to make these hasty decisions and basically project their hurt feelings onto the kids and make these decisions that basically hurt everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they want the man out of the home. They want the man to have as less, they want to control the relationship between the man and, their ex and their children and so on and so forth. So, basically they want control over things that they shouldn't, but them getting everything that they want is disastrous to the whole family. But at the same time, they want to deflect on their responsibility as it relates to. So many of them are doing this nowadays, with the family courts and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? If they feel like they're not getting what they want from you, they can easily replace you. You know what I mean? It ain't the fact that, and we all know, where statistics say that the divorce rate is 55%. Mm-hmm. And one of the underlying issues of divorce is finances.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They say that's the number one reason for divorce, and everything else is kind of like a compound issue from there. Mm-hmm. You understand? But the number one reason for most divorces is finances, right? So when a woman feels like she's not getting the world from you on a silver platter and so on and so forth, she can easily replace you with certain things that the system has set up. Mm-hmm. And basically, like I said, they can drag the whole family she can make these hasty, haphazard decisions and drag the whole family through this negative downward spiral, and don't necessarily have to ever take responsibility for her part to play in the destruction of her own family. You know what I'm saying? Because what's convenient and what most people accept, she can always blame the guy. She can always blame the man and, call the man a deadbeat. Like, we just had was it last week where the young man was taking McDonald's to his child on a day that it wasn't his custody day or something like that. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Where basically
they said it was staged, but
Oh, they said it was staged.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Art imitates life. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, but just taking that situation, right, where the woman was trying to basically claiming to expose that guy for, basically being what she felt was a bad father. But you understand what I'm saying? In the context of what she was saying, you understand what I'm saying? She basically was the deadbeat, because she was basically saying that she gets a welfare check. It's spent on whatever she said it was spent on. You understand what I'm saying? And she didn't have any money to pay her bills or to take care of her kids. You understand what I'm saying? But she was trying to make this guy who was doing, whatever, going the extra mile and doing whatever he can to take care of the family. But she was creating a narrative that this guy is a deadbeat because he won't take care of her and all her children.
Right.
And so on and so forth. But when you actually listen to the context of the situation and listen to what she was saying, she was basically the deadbeat, because what it actually means to be a deadbeat is somebody who can't take care of their own personal responsibilities, i.e. bills, feed their family and so on and so forth. That's actually what a deadbeat is. And from what she was saying, but it's like that in a lot of situations, right? Where, like I said, these women make these haphazard decisions, and when they go to the system to take care of their families, they're not necessarily getting enough money to actually take care of their family and live well. You understand what I'm saying? But we give the men kind of get the asterisks of being the bad guy or not the good parent because he's not in the home with his children. But when you really understand the dynamics of the situation, that woman is not necessarily making enough money to take care of the kids or anyone else. The guy has to remain self-sustaining with whatever form of employment that he can get to even pay child support. But at the end of the day, when you're not meeting the demands of the woman, she can create the narrative that you're a deadbeat. And
True.
For the most part, we see, most people just take that information and run with it when it may not necessarily be true. It may not necessarily be true, but our society has moved to where we only focus on the finances. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which is bad because, like I said, we're settling for the supplements and not necessarily want to put in the work to, gain the strength in our relationship. You understand? By going through tough times together and finding viable solutions that we can both agree on, man and woman. You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Right. Anybody else want to answer the conversation about the Tierra Mack situation? How you feel like her behavior was problematic? Is her behavior more the same as relates to modern women and modern behavior? Because many men feel that it is. Don't know if any more women want to join in, but if not, I'm gonna sign off in a minute, man. But it sounds like you've been revived, man. You went through a divorce, and now you back on your feet. Your next wife, maybe I think you answered the question. My mind is spinning a little bit, but the next LTR, what is she gonna look like?
Oh man, I feel like it's like a blessing and a curse. Some of the things that you go through, you understand what I'm saying? It's like a blessing and a curse because I feel like my divorce was I used to take Taekwondo. So we used to have this saying, sometimes all you need a good kick in the face to wake you up. So I felt like the divorce was the kick in the face that I needed. You know, something to wake me up to where I'm more aware. I don't want to say it's relationship PTSD, but I'm more aware of things and like tactics and little things that should be discussed so we can get some clarity about in moving forward in relationships. You know what I'm saying? And also, I've learned that I have to create boundaries that are non-negotiable. Certain things that I'm not willing to accept now that I used to be kind of. I laugh at myself because I feel, I laugh and I feel like the old me was goofy. You know what I mean? You know, the Disney character Goofy. You know how Goofy gets bashful and kind of he goes, "Oh, pretty woman," and he lets down his defenses and he allows, you understand what I'm saying? He get kind of goofy and goes, "Oh, pretty lady," and allow the woman to work her magic on you without, exercising his wants and his needs in this situation. And where I'm at now, I realize that you can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? You have to take yourself serious and take the relationship serious if you want her to take you serious. You understand what I'm saying? You can't allow her to, like you was just saying about you're not impressed by a woman saying she's godly. Me, I have grown to I understand what you mean by that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes the shit is just, some of the things that they say is just charming. They're just charming you. You know what I'm saying? It's not. They probably don't even necessarily say it's just charming. They probably don't necessarily understand what it is that they're saying, or necessarily have the goods, so to speak. It's kind of like like their own definition of what they say good is, a good woman is, and so on and so forth. And it may not necessarily have nothing to do with being a virtuous woman, or so on and so forth. It's what she values as a person. And so I've learned that I have to be more, not necessarily forceful, but like stern with my beliefs and my convictions and not negotiating. You understand what I'm saying? Not being non-negotiable in certain situations where if they don't meet this, whatever my standard is, then they just don't meet it. Not, with, you know what I mean, without wavering for it or making an exception. Because we tend to do that a lot with women. It's certain things that, how like women have certain preferences, like they don't like short men or tall men, or they have their own freaking preferences. And some of them, they won't negotiate. They won't bend or be flexible with you if you don't meet whatever it is that they say their standard is. But, we somehow have been duped into this thought process that we have to accept women as they are. You understand what I'm saying? And now I understand that you cannot operate in that mindset. That's goofy. That's being the Disney character, goofy. That's being goofy. You can't operate like that in life. You know
Understood. MC Recovering Wellness, man, how would you like to add to the conversation? We're going to sign off in a minute. But how would you like to add to the conversation, this whole Tierra Mack fiasco, man? What say you? Is it a representation of good feminine behavior in your opinion?
That feminine behavior blew me away, boy. Because I know when I seen it going viral, and then when I found out that this is a senator, it made me think about, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, like when he said like we need women to help us, but if our best of the best is at this state,
right.
Ooh, And then I'm saying like if that would have happened out here in Los Angeles, that senator would have been like, catching heat, because there's always right out here the way they play the political games, they always got somebody that can replace you at the drop of a hat. So to me, you can see mental health, underlying mental health issues, and especially that blow up situation you have on your show, that cognitive dissonance. But it was like, it was like extreme cognitive dissonance, because it takes me back to something right in the Bible. It's like, this is the image that our women, that our culture is painting in the mind of young individuals of a senator. This is okay. So it's like, I wish I was over there running, coming up on the next election with her, boy. Sure, I'll be. Should I put some damage control right in her? She may not be doing another term pretty soon, because she put something out there that pretty much is damaging.
Yeah, it is damaging, man. And sadly, man, it's getting worse and worse. Shout out to my man, Jay Parra, for that $30 super sticker. No doubt. I appreciate Jay Parra. He said, been on grind, missed some broadcasts, sending my copay. Keep up the good work. Man, I appreciate you, man. My man, MC Recovering Wellness, and all you brothers.
Right?
And
that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
I really do, man.
That's a
guys
bet,
like
right?
Jay
That's
Parra,
a deal, right? That's a deal,
MC
right?
Recovery, and Tim Howard, and my man, James Turner, Top Gun, and all the other brothers and sisters that I've missed, Lisa Del Rosario, you guys make it worth the effort. Being a licensed therapist and a professional, as I always say, I say it all the time, it's very time consuming doing these shows, but I'm dedicated to seeing you men win, man. I want to see you young brothers win, the older men win, because a lot of men are checking out. They're saying enough is enough. American culture is toxic, and it's not more or less give men the outcomes that they want, and because of that, men are saying, you know what? I got to do what's best for me. And I challenge any man, if he's not getting the outcomes that he wants to do what's best for him. As Mr. Palmer said, you got to change the law of your mind. But also, MC Recovery, you and I are from Gen X, I came up with a term called mental kung fu. You got to have some mental kung fu, and you got to be like Bruce Lee. And you got to...
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees.
Yeah, you got to be like Waller dealing with these modern women, man. You got to know how to bend and break whenever it's necessary to bend and break. But LTR, man, thank you for joining in. MC Recovering Wellness. Anything else you want to share, man, about this Tierra Mack situation? I appreciate your input, brother. And thank you, man, kindly for all that you do. So anything else you want to share concerning this, man? If not, I'm going to sign off.
She was, to me, she was doing that to basically rack up her enough. To me, it seemed like she did it to rack up another girlfriend, and then it's like what LTR said. It was like it was the disdainful microaggression that she was doing towards men. So it even looked like that. So it was deliberately done. And then I'm wondering, is she getting a lot of heat from women? Because the women that really want to be there for a man that looks like her complexion, she just made it hard for him. This is like, it's like, I ain't making it up, but it makes the decision for the next man that like women that size to make a firm decision whether or not they should jump on it. So
yeah, it's unfortunate, man. But guys, we're gonna sign off. It's been another great show. I appreciate it. I got another 5-hour show coming up for you guys in a few, hopefully on Sunday. Stay tuned. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Shout out to Tim Howard, Tim Howard always holding me down. Him and Top Gun, my two of my top moderators. I really appreciate it. And you're right, Rob. It is thirst trapping, because they think that's all you brothers are worth. It's just a big butt and a smile. Don't bring anything else. No other virtue. Where women in other countries have wide hips, a big butt, and they respect and honor men. So once again, guys, you got to change the law in your mind. Shout out to Mr. Palmer for that quote. And in the meantime, guys, we're going to be signing off. Thank you once again to everybody, man. I appreciate it, guys. And I will be seeing you brothers real soon. Be seeing you guys real soon. So, guys, signing off.
Are you a victim of brokenness and despair? A broken man is a hopeless man. And a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. Many times, many of you young men that are listening come from homes that are very toxic and very dysfunctional. And because of that, many of you have deferred your power in many ways, to the point it's led over into your social life, and many times led over into your relationships. If you guys are dealing with mental health pathologies, conscious and unconscious, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. It's important that you deal with your mental health in order to be a better person for yourself, your loved ones, and also your community. But because mental health is often stigmatized, many of you often suffer in silence. Don't be a victim in silence. And see me once again at